The amount of content that people produce online, and to activate new revenue streams, turn it into a physical box. And especially like, so we were talking a little bit earlier about this, and this is like, what happened since COVID hit was that a lot of people are doing, for instance, a virtual live event or a virtual event. So some virtual events are pre-recorded, some virtual events are done live, but with like the cancellation of all live events due to COVID, this is a different way that people are doing. And you're just seeing this explosion of it. It's a ton of work, and people interview all these different influencers. And when it's done, like no one buys the content thereafter because they haven't thought through their repurposing strategy. And so having a content strategy is so critical. But even if you're doing a virtual live event or a virtual event, have one. And just to kind of give you a quick case study of something we did. I did a small event that I interviewed 11 people. It was 11 people. I did it over 3 days. Did not take a lot of time, but I turned that content into a box. And this was a virtual event called High Ticket Online. It was all about how to think differently about high ticket sales, because everyone does high ticket differently, and don't just follow someone because they said they just closed $250,000 online. And that was a big theme that we were seeing at the time. So how can I profile different categories of how people are doing high ticket sales? And we brought it to life with, you can see my speakers, we printed their picture on the box.
Yeah.
People who bought and attended the event and bought our upsell, they all got shipped this box. But the whole story with inside the box was all repurposing the interviews that we did. It really wasn't much more than that, but we were really intentional with how we conducted the interviews. So to kind of bring this to life, like one of the things that we did was in the interview, asked for everyone to share with me their high ticket black book. How do you design high ticket programs? How do you attract and close leads? And how do you onboard your new clients? I also took them through like a profiling exercise on like, how do you do high ticket differently? And then I just took the content. One of the things that we did was we turned all our speakers into trading cards.
Yes.
Their profile is on the cover. So this was their unique profile. And one of the things that we did was we had another resource in there that was a workshop where you can fill out your own profile and then go look at the cards to see who else does closing from online only, who does closing only in live in-person events, who does closing on Facebook or Instagram. Like we had all these categories. Who's closing over 25,000, over 50,000, over 100,000? Go learn from them. So it was a perfect loop to be able to say, you fill out this assessment, you find people who have a profile more like you, or who are like, you want to do high ticket on LinkedIn, go follow someone who specializes that. Eileen Wilder, I love Eileen Wilder, amazing person. High ticket cold traffic, how do you do tactics for that? So that was a really powerful way. It activated all of our speakers for one, because when they started getting their trading cards, what do you think happened? They started sharing this authentically with their audience. So now they've amplified it to their audience. They've shared the box with their audience. As people received the pieces, they got their hat. They started taking all these pictures and posting it. On the backs of the cards, this was their high ticket cheat sheet of how they design high ticket programs, attract and close leads, onboard new clients. It all was from just interviews. It was just being intentional about the interviews. But one interview created not only the trading cards, but it created a workbook that went with it. It fed a lot of the upsell for a high ticket coach, where I could say, hey, as Joni Dillon talked about, she talked about the power of seeding for high ticket sales. So it created more future content. And it wasn't about stealing the other entrepreneurs' content. It was about elevating them, making them shine even more, and be like, just giving them a better platform to be able to do what they do. And then what happened, because of the physical box, because this was tied to a virtual summit, after the virtual summit, people don't consume it as much because the date tied to it's gone. Now I have a physical box training people on high ticket sales that I could sell year round. So we kept on selling this box, and we can keep on changing the story and updating the story inside the box. But we were having so much fun with this that truly, because of box and something physical and tangible, we took a couple of interviews and created a whole experience that we can nurture and continue to develop out this product on high ticket sales. So that's just like scratching the surface, because we did book launch, we did all these things with it, but just the power of a series of interviews and how we repurposed it, brand new revenue stream as a result.